Welcome to this deep dive on mastering English tenses. You shared a YouTube video breaking down all 12 tenses, and we're excited to take a closer look. We're going to extract the key insights, connect the dots to help you wield these tenses like a true wordsmith.
Exactly. Think of this deep dive as unlocking a secret code, the code to time travel through language.
Ooh, I like that. And you know me, I'm always up for a bit of time travel, especially when it involves perfecting my grammar. But honestly, I do get a bit intimidated by the perfect tenses. Present perfect, past perfect. They all sound a bit mysterious.
Don't worry, we'll demystify those today. We'll break down not just the what of each tense, but the why, the subtle ways they can change the meaning and impact of your message.
Okay, so the video starts with this awesome chart.
Right.
It lays out all 12 tenses based on 3 times past, present, future, and 4 aspects. Simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. Time plus aspect equals tense. That's the formula.
It is. And just like any good formula, understanding it gives you a powerful tool. You can start to see the logic behind the tenses. And that's where the real mastery begins.
So let's start our time traveling adventure with the present tenses. We've got present simple and present continuous. The video explains that we use present simple for habits, routines, and facts. Basic stuff, right?
It might seem basic, but the present simple is incredibly powerful. Think about it. When you use this tense effectively, you can create a sense of authority, establish undeniable truths. It's the foundation of persuasive writing.
Wow, I never thought about it that way. So instead of just saying, I drink coffee every morning, I could say, all great writers start their day with a steaming cup of coffee. Boom, instant authority.
Exactly. And because the present simple can state universal truths, it's the tense of choice for scientific facts.
Yeah.
Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. No arguments there.
Okay, you've convinced me. Present simple is more than just basic grammar. But what about that tricky says rule? For third-person singular verbs, he walks, she talks, it makes a lot of noise.
Ah, yes. The yeses rule. It trips up many a language learner. But it's crucial for making your present simple sentences grammatically sound. Think of it like this. The verb needs a little something extra. To agree with the singular subject, he walked just doesn't sound right, does it?
It doesn't. He walks. Much better. Okay, so we've conquered the present simple, at least for now. What about present continuous? What's its superpower?
Present continuous puts you right in the action, the moment. It's the tense of dynamism, of change. While the present simple paints a static picture, present continuous shows us a world in motion.
So instead of saying the world changes, you could say the world is constantly changing. Much more vivid and captivating.
Right, exactly. And this is where you can start to see the subtle artistry of tenses. Even a simple shift can completely change the energy and feeling of your message.
Okay, this is getting really interesting. So present continuous highlights actions happening right now, but the video also mentions temporary activities and ongoing changes. Can you give me some examples?
Certainly. Imagine you're describing your friend's new hobby. You could say, he's learning to play the guitar. This implies it's a temporary activity, something he's currently engaged in, but might not do forever.
Or, I'm working on a new project, which implies an ongoing change, a work in progress. I see how that distinguishes it from the present simple, which would be more like, I work on projects.
Precisely. The present continuous adds that extra layer of detail, focusing on the now, the unfolding process.
Okay, we've explored the present. It's more dynamic than I thought. Are you ready to travel back in time? Let's dive into the past tenses.
Lead the way. I'm always fascinated by how we use language to reconstruct and re-experience the past. Let's start with the past simple, the workhorse of historical accounts, storytelling, and even casual conversations about our day.
The video says it's used for completed actions in the past. Straightforward enough. But I have a confession. I still get tripped up by those irregular verbs.
Ah, yes, the irregular verbs. They're like the rebels of the English language, refusing to conform to the regular ed pattern. But think of it this way. They add a bit of spice and character to our language. Go becomes went. See transforms into saw. Each irregular verb has its own unique story to tell.
I guess you're right. It wouldn't be English without a little bit of quirkiness. The video does a good job of explaining the difference between regular and irregular verbs. But honestly, sometimes they just freeze up when I try to use them in conversation.
I understand. It takes practice to internalize those irregular forms, but the payoff is huge. Imagine you're telling a story about a past adventure. Using those irregular verbs correctly will make your story flow smoothly and sound more natural.
Okay, you've inspired me to conquer those irregular verbs once and for all. But for now, let's move on to the past continuous. The video says it's used for an action that was in progress when another action interrupted it.
Think of it like setting the stage, creating a backdrop for another event. I was reading a book when the phone rang. The past continuous was reading paints a picture of an ongoing action that's suddenly interrupted by the ringing phone.
I see. It's like those movie scenes where they show you what's happening in different locations before bringing the action together. The past continuous sets the scene and then bam, the past simple action interrupts it.
Exactly. And that interplay between the two tenses creates a dynamic narrative, a sense of movement and surprise.
Okay, so we've got past simple for completed actions and past continuous for ongoing actions that get interrupted. But now we're entering the territory that always makes me a bit nervous. The perfect tenses. Are you ready to tackle these?
Absolutely. The perfect tenses might seem intimidating at first, but they're really just about adding a layer of nuance and perspective to how we talk about time.
Let's start with the present perfect. The video says it's used for experiences in ongoing time periods, like someone's life or career.
It's about connecting the past to the present, highlighting the lasting impact of experiences. I have traveled to many countries. This statement doesn't focus on specific dates or trips, but rather emphasizes the overall experience of travel. That has shaped your life.
So it's not about when I traveled, but the fact that I have this rich tapestry of travel experiences, it's like saying these experiences are part of who I am today.
Exactly. And because a time period, your life is still ongoing. You use the present perfect to connect those past experiences to your present self.
The video also mentions using the present perfect for recent events where the exact time is less important than the completion of the action.
Think of it this way. You've just finished a challenging task. You announce, I have finished the report. The focus is on the accomplishment, the relief of having completed the task. The exact time you finished isn't as relevant in this moment.
Okay, I'm starting to see how the present perfect adds that extra layer of meaning. It's not just about stating a past action, it's about emphasizing its relevance to the present moment.
Precisely. It's a subtle but powerful way to shape the listener's understanding of the event.
Now, for the present perfect continuous. This is where things start to get really tricky for me.
Don't worry, we'll break it down. The present perfect continuous is all about duration, about highlighting how long an action has been happening, leading up to the present moment.
The video gives the example, I have been waiting for the doctor for 2 hours. It emphasizes not just the fact of waiting, but the continuous nature of that waiting.
Right.
Exactly. It's like saying, this action started in the past. It's still going on now. And here's how long it's been happening.
And the video makes an interesting point about a common mistake, using the present continuous instead of the present perfect continuous when talking about duration.
It's an easy mistake to make. Saying, I am waiting for the doctor for 2 hours implies that you started waiting 2 hours ago and will continue waiting for another 2 hours. The present perfect continuous, on the other hand, correctly conveys that the waiting began in the past and continues into the present. Okay, I see the difference now. It's all about accurately representing the time frame of the action.
Precisely. And the present perfect continuous is a master of conveying that ongoing, continuous aspect of time.
We've covered present perfect and present perfect continuous. What's next on our journey through time?
Let's delve deeper into the past with the past perfect tense.
The video explains that it's used to clarify the order of 2 past events, showing that one happened before the other. It gives the example, when we got to the theater, the movie had already started.
The past perfect had started. Transports us back to a point before your arrival at the theater. It's like creating a flashback within a past narrative.
I get it. It's like saying, before this past event happened, this other past event had already taken place.
Exactly. It adds a layer of complexity and depth to our understanding of the past.
And now, for the grand finale of the past, tenses the past perfect continuous. The video says it's similar to the past perfect, but emphasizes the duration of the earlier action.
It's about painting a picture of an ongoing action in the past. That leads up to another past event. Imagine you're explaining why you were exhausted last night. You could say, I was tired because I had been working on a project all day.
So the past perfect continuous had been working highlights the ongoing effort that led to your fatigue. It's like saying this continuous action was happening before, and it explains why this other past event occurred.
Precisely. It's a powerful way to connect cause and effect in the past. to show how one action directly influenced another.
Okay, I think we've successfully navigated the often treacherous terrain of the perfect tenses. But now it's time to venture into the uncharted territory of the future. Are you ready for this?
Absolutely. The future is full of possibilities, and so are the ways we use language to express those possibilities.
The video starts with the future simple tense, which actually has three main forms: going to, present continuous, and will.
It's true. The future simple is incredibly versatile, allowing us to express plans, intentions, predictions, and even spontaneous decisions.
The video explains that we use going to for plans and intentions, like I'm going to visit my grandparents next weekend.
Going to suggests a plan that's already been formulated, a decision that's been made.
And we use the present continuous for fixed arrangements, like I'm having dinner with friends on Friday night.
The present continuous, in this context, conveys a sense of certainty, a commitment that's already been made. It's like saying, this event is already set in motion.
The video uses the classic dentist appointment example to illustrate the difference between going to and the present continuous. I'm going to see the dentist next week versus I'm seeing the dentist tomorrow at 2 p.m.
It's a great example. Going to indicates a general plan to see the dentist, while the present continuous specifies the exact time and date, implying a confirmed appointment.
Now for will, the video highlights its use for instant decisions, offers, and promises.
Think of it as the tense of spontaneity and commitment. You're at a restaurant, you glance at the menu, and you declare, I'll have the pasta.
Or, I'll help you with your move next week, a promise to lend a hand.
Will conveys a sense of willingness and determination in these contexts.
The video also mentions that will is used for predictions, based on knowledge or experience, like, I think the economy will improve next year.
It's about expressing a belief about the future, based on what we know or have observed.
Okay, we've covered going to, present continuous, and will for future simple. What's next on our future timeline? We're on to the future continuous. I'm picturing myself strolling along a futuristic timeline, watching events unfold.
That's a great way to visualize it. The future continuous is all about an action that will be in progress at a specific point in the future. It's like peering into a crystal ball and seeing a snapshot of what's to come.
The example from the video is at 8 p.m. tomorrow, I will be enjoying dinner with friends. So at that exact moment, the action of enjoying dinner will be ongoing.
Exactly. It's like saying, tune in at this precise moment in the future, and this is what you'll find me doing.
The video also mentions the future continuous can be used for fixed or routine events in the future, similar to how we use the present continuous for future arrangements.
Yes, there can be some overlap. For instance, saying, I will be attending the conference every day next week conveys the same meaning as I am attending or I am going to attend.
So the choice of tense often comes down to the specific nuance you want to emphasize.
That's right. Do you want to highlight the ongoing nature of the action? Or simply state the fact that it will occur? It's all about using the right tool for the job.
Okay, we're in the home stretch now. 2 future tenses down, 2 to go. What's next on our futuristic expedition?
Let's tackle the final 2 together. The future perfect and the future perfect continuous. Don't worry, these might seem a bit complex, but they're actually quite logical once you grasp the concept.
The video uses the example of running a marathon to illustrate the future perfect. By next Sunday, I will have run the entire marathon.
The future perfect focuses on the completion of an action by a specific point in the future. In this case, by next Sunday, the action of running the marathon will be finished. A proud accomplishment to look back on.
It's like fast forwarding to that future point and saying, look, it's done.
Precisely. It's like setting a goal and then projecting yourself into the future to celebrate its achievement.
And then we have the future perfect continuous, which shifts the focus to the duration of an action, leading up to a specific point in the future.
Right. Using the marathon example, we could say, by next Sunday, I will have been training for 6 months.
The emphasis is on the continuous effort, the dedication to training that leads up to that moment of crossing the finish line.
Exactly. It's like saying, at that future point, I will be able to look back and see the journey, the ongoing effort that brought me to this accomplishment.
Wow, these last 2 tenses are definitely mind-bending. But the video reassures us that they're not as common in everyday speech as some of the other tenses we've discussed.
That's true.
Yeah.
And even if you don't use them every day, understanding them gives you a deeper appreciation for the nuances of the English language. It's like having a secret decoder ring for time.
Okay, I think we've officially conquered all 12 English tenses. It's been quite a journey, but I feel like I've unlocked a whole new level of understanding.
Me too. It's amazing how much depth and complexity there is to something we use every day without even thinking about it.
But now that we are thinking about it, I have a question for you and for our listener. We've explored all these different tenses, but what does it all really mean? Why should we care about mastering them?
That's a great question. It's about so much more than just getting the grammar right. Mastering tenses empowers you to express yourself with precision and clarity. It allows you to paint vivid pictures with your words, to transport your listener through time, and to create a truly immersive experience.
I love that. It's like we've been given this incredible toolbox, and now we know how to use every tool to its full potential.
Exactly. And the more you practice, the more natural and intuitive using these tenses will become. You'll find yourself effortlessly shifting between past, present, and future, shaping your message with intention and artistry.
So to our listener, I encourage you to experiment with these tenses in your own writing and speaking. Play with them, have fun, and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Remember, every mistake is an opportunity to learn and grow. And the more you explore the nuances of these tenses, the more confident and expressive you'll become as a communicator.
This deep dive has been a fantastic reminder of the power and beauty of language. Thank you for joining us on this adventure through time and tenses. We hope you've enjoyed the journey as much as we have. Until next time, happy communicating.